If you're someone that's trying to gain actual, real, healthy connection with a dismissive avoidant, you're going to want to hear this because the perfect partner for the dismissive avoidant in their eyes, doesn't mean it's healthy, is the narcissist. And I want to explain to you why and how this works. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to last forever, and it doesn't mean it's going to cause that it's not going to cause damage, but the narcissist is the choice that the dismissive avoidant will make fairly quickly. They will choose that partner, they will commit to that partner, they might marry that partner that's narcissistic. And there's some very specific reasons why. And when you understand this, it's going to make so much sense. First of all, if you're new here, I'd also like to welcome you. I'm Ketra Thompson, and I'm a certified master hypnotist and a relationship attachment style coach. So what I do with my clients is we go back on a subconscious level and we reframe the subconscious beliefs that are driving their unwanted behaviors, because our subconscious is formed at the same time our attachment style is. And once we reframe that, it's a total game changer, because our subconscious mind is running over 95% of everything we think, feel, and do. So if you'd like to learn more, or if you'd like to set up a complimentary consultation call so you and I can chat, there's information in the description below. You can check it out there, and I'd love to chat with you and help you get some clarity and make my best recommendation. Now, first of all, the dismissive avoidant isn't adverse to a healthy relationship. They basically think they want what the rest of us want, that they want a good, solid, healthy relationship. But the problem is, what triggers them is different than maybe you. So what triggers the dismissive avoidant is the fear of intimacy. It's the fear of being seen and known, the vulnerability of seeing under the surface. If someone sees under the surface, then they're going to see that this person isn't perfect, that they have flaws, and that is the biggest fear for them. And when we look at the narcissist, we realize the narcissist is all about being self-absorbed. They don't want the DA to open up. They don't want to go deep with them. They don't want that level of vulnerability, because they also don't want to be seen deeply. So there's no pressure for them to open up. Everything stays on the surface. Everything stays really performative. And the dismissive avoidant is really comfortable in performative behavior, transactional behavior. I do XYZ to get ABC. And so they can keep being performative. They can stay on the surface level, and no one is challenging them to go deep or be self-reflective or actually grow in that way. We grow in relationships because we have to step into vulnerability, because we have to look at ourselves and be self-reflective and challenge what we once thought. If we don't do that, we might be in a relationship, but we're not growing. We're not connecting deeply, that's for sure. The narcissist gives the dismissive avoidant an excuse to be external with their focus. Look at me, pay attention to me, give me what I want, do all the things for me, do all your little service things, your people-pleasing behaviors, and everything will be fine. And so the narcissist loves that the dismissive avoidant does this. The dismissive avoidant doesn't challenge them to go deep, doesn't require anything of them. They just do this performative behavior. And even you might see a dismissive avoidant with a narcissist. This is the person they're going to post about. This is the person they're going to brag about to the world, because the narcissist seems amazing, brilliant, competent, and they brag about them because it gets the focus off of them. And so for a while, this is the perfect combination, but it doesn't last. And it doesn't last for a really important reason, because the dismissive avoidant, one of their biggest flaws in relationships is their inability to look at themselves and be self-reflective. It's their inability to actually own up to how their behaviors might damage other people, which is very, very similar to the narcissist. The narcissist doesn't get self-reflective either, but the dismissive avoidant does it in sort of a different way. It's more about just avoiding feeling their shame and their guilt, and they can very easily fall into the mode of the victim. And so as a relationship between a DA and a narcissist continues, the dismissive avoidant starts noticing that they're giving, 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 and they're not getting. And they don't actually get self-reflective with themselves about why are they giving, giving, giving in this way? Why aren't they communicating their feelings and their needs? Why aren't they being assertive and clear in a kind, respectful way in their own life? They don't wonder that. Instead, they point the finger at the narcissist because it's very easy to point a finger at a narcissist and say, hey, it's your fault. You're selfish. You do this thing. And it allows them to play the victim, which very often people with narcissists are victimized in lots of ways, financially, emotionally, physically. But we can't stay the victim and step into healing. We have to be a survivor of the victimization by reflecting into ourselves. What is going on with me? What is the programming that led me to choose this person? Why didn't I value reciprocation? Why couldn't I receive? Why didn't I have enough connection to myself to understand what's going on inside of me, express it clearly, gather enough data to make clear decisions without falling into victim mode? That's actually the healing path. Now, some of us, as we grow older, we dig our heels in and we just keep repeating the same patterns that were programmed into us. And some of us get self-reflective. But what real self-reflection requires is that you stop protecting yourself and you get open to new information, to new ways of looking at things, and you get real with yourself, even in the ways that maybe you've caused damage or harm to others along the way. That's the hard part about being self-reflective. And that's why so many people won't do it. They won't do the growth work because they're afraid of the guilt and the shame that they'll feel in the process. What they don't realize is once you come to terms with yourself and you reconnect to your own authenticity, you are free. You are finally free. Free to love, free to connect. You are free to be your authentic self, which is a huge weight off. There's no more mask. There's no more performative behavior, but the mask and the performative behavior are the security net for the dismissive avoidant. It's like their binky, right? It's their safety piece. I have to wear this mask. I have to be performative. And all the time while I'm doing this, I'm building more resentment, more resentment, more resentment because I'm not getting my needs met, but I'm also not communicating my needs because I'm not checking in with myself enough to even know my needs and communicate them. That's what's going on inside of the DA. And so it's this vicious cycle. So eventually they play the victim long enough with the narcissist that they decide to leave, or they push back in anger, or they get really passive aggressive, or they say rude things and they start protecting themselves even more, but in a defensive way. And so they can leave the narcissist eventually as well because they've built up so much resentment. But it's not because they've come to some realization that they played a part in this connection. And it doesn't mean there isn't massive damage done to the dismissive avoidant, because a relationship with a narcissist just confirms their deepest fears, that they can't be loved for who they are, that they can't express their needs, that people just want to take from them. And it doesn't actually challenge them into real, authentic vulnerability. And so they leave that relationship more wounded than they were in the beginning, more cynical, and they certainly haven't grown in their relationship skills, because real relationship skills require vulnerability. They require someone to own the stuff they do and say, to own the hurtful behavior. And when the narcissist is so much worse at being hurtful, it's very easy for the DA to just point their finger at the narcissist and go, look how much better I am compared to them. It's not even a comparison, right? And they never look at themselves and they never look at their patterns, and they assume that they were always in the right. So if you're someone wanting the love of a dismissive avoidant, the problem is You are probably also a people pleaser. You are probably abandoning your needs. You are probably conforming to what you think other people want. You're probably avoiding conflict so you don't trigger them. You're probably not going deep as well. And you are not going to gain the connection you want with that dismissive avoidant unless they are actually willing to look at reality. And so there's all this advice out there about how to not trigger them, how to give them space, blah, 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 how to be securely attached so that they come to you. In reality, if you are securely attached, you aren't going to be that thrilling to the dismissive avoidant. Because even if they're intrigued by you, even if they appreciate your kindness, even if they are okay with your boundaries, they aren't okay with going deep. And someone who doesn't go deep isn't going to be satisfying to you because they're always going to be performative. So it's time for you to take a look at why you want that so bad. What in your history has created this strong desire for this dismissive avoidant? Because in reality, these programs, they get put in us when we're really young. We are actually in hypnosis from birth to age 7. We're in the theta brainwave state. Now, during that time, we're programming our subconscious mind with no discernment, with no understanding, with just sort of these flippant assumptions about what it means when people behave a certain way to us, or what it means when they don't give us what we need. All of that programming goes in there. And then by age 7, we have this sort of guard over our subconscious mind. It doesn't let new information in and doesn't allow us to see the world clearly in some ways. And the problem is the subconscious mind is running over 95% of everything we think, feel, and do. So it is what determines how you show up in the world with your attachment style, how you show up in your relationships, how you show up with your ability to use or not use boundaries and to go deep. And so because it's running the show, we have to get in there. We have to be able to reframe these beliefs on a subconscious level because you're not the one who put them there. You're sort of at the mercy of the people you grow up around and the ignorance of your own assumptions about these things. And so once you take control of that, I'm telling you, it is a game changer. It changes how you view yourself and you view the world, and it creates an entirely different dynamic for what you're able to attract into your life, draw into your life, how you're able to feel okay on your own. It takes away the fear and the panic. So this work of the subconscious reframing is incredibly important. And if you'd like help with that, I'd love to help you with it. Also, if this content resonates with you, if it helps you in any way, I would really appreciate it if you click like and subscribe so that you can be notified every time I post a new video, but also so other people can be notified that my channel exists and that it can give them more clarity, more understanding. So you're not just ruminating. We're not just running around in our head doing the same things, making the same mistakes, and having the same regrets. So, of course, if you'd like to get more clarity, set up that consultation call. There's no charge for that. I have my brand new program coming out, the Secure Self Blueprint. You guys, this is amazing. This is so comprehensive for the person dealing with heartbreak, divorce, any kind of ruptured relationship, who wants to become securely attached, who wants to deal with all of the rumination and the pain and actually step into their self-worth and their confidence. And that is launching very, very soon. Of course, I've already still got my custom programs, so you can check that all out in the link below. And until next time, I hope you curate a life by your own design.